There we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And Cosley's here as well, just on time, like you said he'd be. Who takes it out for a surprise dinner for two, but then spits in the soup and dashes away before the bill arrives? It's us, the American Scouser TV Thursday Night Podcast. ASTV to the cool kids. We're back with real football, and we're all back as well. Moves have been made, keys have been exchanged, and houses have been secured. And in me and Brian's case, possibly burgled. But we're all here. The gang of baldies are back to talk about real football, not this international nonsense where Ireland struggle to beat Armenia when they have 10 men. Cosley, Brian, and Suzie, how are we?
Good, brother. We're back.
We're back.
Good.
You know what I mean? There's real football back.
Yep. There's really nice. The excitement is so palpable. Suzie was muted.
I mean, yeah. Well, you know what I mean? That's what he does now. He doesn't want to talk about the Reds, the garbage.
I haven't watched footy since we lost to Palace.
Palace? Which one?
Yeah.
You didn't watch the thingy game? The Chelsea?
Nope. I watched first half of Galatasaray and I'd switched off. I was like, fuck this.
I wish I fucking never watched it either. Jesus.
No. I was getting the alerts. I was like, oh, Gakpo equalised. And then I saw the last second going on. I just switched off. I couldn't handle it.
I think it's probably, we can all say, the most well-timed international break we've had as Liverpool this entire time.
It's one of those things when you're maturing, I think, when you get older, when you do appreciate the international break, you're like, I don't want to look at those little pricks for a week. Just go away. I love an international break now. I can't believe it.
It's like right back to the mid-90s, early to mid-90s there, when the international breaks were actually a relief. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about this new thing that apparently FIFA are trialing, where managers get one call each on VAR and they get a special little card to do so if they want to make a challenge to anything that happens on the field. Liverpool players of the past getting medals. We will talk about the whole idea of giving players medals for league titles from decades ago, even though they only played 3 or 4 games in that season. And then for the most of it, we're basically just going to talk about the real thing that's happening on Sunday against that shower down the canal, who think they are the biggest club in England, but, you know, they're not even the driest, going by the way their Old Trafford drainage seems to be going these days. But let's talk about this stupid little idea here, which Americanizes the game, as far as I'm concerned, far more than it needs to be. Apparently, managers in some level, I can't remember what level it is, but FIFA are trialing the idea of a managers on each side getting one card that they can use as a challenge to a decision. And to complicate matters, a player can ask the manager to make a challenge to a decision. Now, VAR was one thing, and I'm still not happy with it. I'm still not sure I like it as part of the game, but it's getting to the point where we're going to have 10 refs and they're going to be throwing yellow flags on the play, and managers will be doing this before too long. It's getting a bit ridiculous, lads, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually don't mind this idea. You're going to like this if you get rid of VAR.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you get rid of the rest of it, that's actually not a bad idea.
It should have been the play before VAR. It should have been the play. They do this in cricket, so I know this is an American audience, but you have 3 reviews where you can review a decision by a referee, and it works fantastically, and it works amazingly in that sport. It works in other sports, I believe. I think it works in the NFL. I think they have a review system, don't they? A coach can, or is it the NBA? I think where a coach can challenge. I can't remember. So I think this is a way where you could go, but it can't be inclusive of VAR as well, because that goes against the point. Because that's what VAR is meant to be doing, is reviewing anyway. So what are these reviewing? So what type of challenge? Are they just going to review a challenge on the halfway line? Is that what we're up to? They're going to review a challenge from 75 yards out and go, that stopped as a goal scorer. You're 75 yards out and you're garbage. It stops you from nothing. Like, I don't understand what they're meant to be reviewing. So can they overturn a review of VAR where they checked it? So VAR checked it and cleared it, and I go, no, we're going to review that again, just in case it's any different now. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I'm for the idea if you get rid of VAR, and I think if you give a coach 1.5,
1.5, yeah.
1.5, I think is fair, and I wouldn't be against that idea.
Brian, Susie, what are your thoughts on this farrago? Not that the idea is bad, as Cosy said. If you get rid of the other part of VAR and have the challenge, then the game flows maybe more freely, and then the less egregious kind of decisions, the millimeter, the toenail on the offside line maybe doesn't get challenged so much because you're sitting there. Well, if I use that now for this stupid little thing, we're gonna be messed up later on, maybe, so it becomes strategic.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, gentlemen? Brian and Susie, we'll go with Brian first on this. Does Cosy have a point? Is it a goer of an idea if you get rid of VAR, or are we just going to have tons of, like Uno? It's going to become soccer and Uno, football and Uno.
Well, we're not going to get rid of VAR. I think the whole thing with this was to supplement VAR. So yeah, to Cos's point, if the latter happened, then it'll be a good idea, but it's not going to happen. And how can you say Americanization without saying Americanization? It's just stupid. And the fact that it's come from Infantino, whose head is so far up America's arse, it's unbelievable. It's just dumb. You're basically saying that not only are the refs shit, the VAR refs are shit, and we're going to implement something else just for the sake of getting more sponsorship time and a commercial break and Americanize the damn sport. And I'm not opposed to VAR. It's an innate object. It's the tool itself is good. It's the idiots that use it that need to be questioned. And it's the idiots that use it that need to be replaced, not another card to slow down the game. I don't understand it. If football is just the most simplest game in the world, where anyone around the world can pick up a ball and just kick it around on the beach. In Salah's case, drive 8 hours back and forth, play the game, and all of a sudden we're turning this into a freaking shit show of a game. And yeah, it's just more ammo for me to just walk away from watching the game. It's just a complete shit show.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
Can we fix the shit calls and VAR at first? I mean, I agree totally with what Kazi and Serzi both say. I can't argue with either point on that right there, because the problem is that I've watched over this past season right now already. There has been VAR controversies every single week. So why are we coming there and going into giving more options for somebody to call a VAR challenge right there when the actual people from the VAR booth are terrible and they're making horrible calls? I mean, so again, right there, well, this is pointless. At what point do we come there and actually go and continue on with technology interrupting this game? I mean, that's all I'm just going to say right there, because I mean, we've got goal line technology, we now have offside technology, we have. I mean, how much more are we adding to this right there before we're complicating this the game? Because right now this is getting to pointless now at the point. I mean, again, I'm standing by, like Sir Z said, for TV, for commercial breaks in the middle of it. We've already got halftime interviews. You got stuff like that. I mean, this is getting asinine now, right there. I mean, to the point right there where they're trying to sell this game to a certain fan base that doesn't really care. I'm sorry to say, right there. I mean, it honestly, right there, because I mean, most of us here who are followers of this sport, right there, are purists for the most part. I mean, yeah. When VAR came aboard right there, we're like, okay, great, we can fix some of the problems right there. That we had some of the minute human elements that had problems with it. But now you're getting to a point right there where this is getting over and above right there. I mean, so again, you're trying to just sell this, Americanize the sport right there to a fan base that doesn't really care. I mean, honestly, right there, it's only a few of us Americans out there, but some of us Americans out there who want the sport to be the way the sport is and not turn into the NBA finals or turn into the NFL, where I'm going to start throwing a red flag out on the field right there for you to go through review calls. So again, when does this stop?
In terms of, let's say if it did go ahead, How tactical does it become, Cosy? Then, do you think? Could it be used to disrupt the momentum, for example? Because you're always big on the momentum of games and how it can change on random moments occasionally. But we've already seen for decades now how players have turned contact into a way to break up play and get fouls, etc., etc. Whereas, watching and that's what I spent the international break doing, is watching games from the 70s and the 80s. And you had to be carted off that pitch to get free kicks sometimes in some of those games. But nevertheless, there is a lot of cynicism in the drive to win in football, and it could potentially be something that's abused, couldn't it?
Of course, in terms of, again, I don't know the full background in terms of what you can call it for and what you can use it for. If it's for anything on the pitch, then of course. Do you know what I mean? I'm really into the idea, by the way, of just Mikel Arteta reviewing something that's 6 yards off when Saka's 6 yards offside because he's just fuming for the sake of fuming. Like, Mourinho would be great with it, wouldn't he? How funny would Mourinho be with it? Like, so there is that little devil on my shoulder kind of thing, but I just think it could be hilarious. But in the overall aspect of the game, I do think it could become tactical. I think, listen, UEFA tried these little experiments all the time. I think like 6 years ago in the under-17, they was rolling subs. So they're trying things all the time in these like smaller tournaments, in these kids tournaments. They are always trying like these kind of different rules. I think I can't remember what the other one was. I know rolling subs was a thing like 6-7 years ago where they tried it. It just didn't work. Because the referees are losing their mind about what players meant to be coming on and things. And at one point there was 12 players on the pitch and stuff, so it was just all a bit wild. So I don't think it's ever going to come really to fruition. It's just more the reasoning of why. That's what I'm trying to get in my head. Why? So I suppose America, if you look at it in the biggest state of this, America is the biggest untapped market in terms of the sport of what it is. Let's be frank, it's the biggest sport around the world in every other country. You could add probably football in Ireland, maybe, and Aussie rules football in Australia. But other than that, it's the biggest sport. New Zealand, maybe rugby. So other than that, really, it's one of the top two. And so you're trying to tap into a market where, let's be frank, everyone's tried to tap into since the 70s and haven't broken. They had the World Cup in '94, but fucking Pele went over there and Bobby Moore went over there, and I think George Best had a stint over there. So they've been trying this, like, everyone thought it was the David Beckham kickoff thing. What I would say is, and again, because of course living in America now, and I'm sure you guys have different opinions, I think America right now is probably more open to soccer than it's ever been. Because I think what's happening with the NBA and the NFL and baseball, first of all, because of the cost of living at the moment, soccer is so accessible as a sport to play. It's so easy to play, where you can't go out with your mates and play a game of American football. You just can't do it. It's just not possible. You could probably have a big game of baseball if you wanted. It's a battle of ball and 10 lads. I suppose you can probably figure something out. Basketball, you still need something else to play the game, i.e. a hoop. You can't just have a friend standing there with his arms in a circle and go, I'll be the hoop now, like you can in the UK with a goalkeeper. So I think America is open to that more. I think we are we are in a state of where, with the way we're parenting kids these days, we don't want our kids to be more hurt and more kind of thrown in the firing line, where soccer kind of feels more of a low-touch sport. And whether we like that or not, the way we were all brought up with our parents, it was very much get out there and get stuck in and that. People don't raise kids like that anymore. Whether we like it or not, people don't raise kids like that anymore. They're so protective over them. You can't shout at kids anymore and things like that. Kids are, let's be frank, are raised soft. That's, by the way, that's a guy with 2 kids who, you know what I mean, is saying the same thing. They're getting raised soft. The softest sport to play is probably soccer. I've all them whether you like it or not. So there's that argument, and that's why I think there's a bigger aspect of Americanizing the sport, yes, but it's also making, whether we like, again, this is another part of the conversation, soccer only has one break, apart from before and after. And let's be honest, who watches the post-match? No one. No one's asked. Who the hell wants to listen to Robbie Hale and Robbie Mustoe speak for 20 minutes about my team? Because I don't. So you have a 50-minute break where you can plow your adverts in. So if this thing comes into place, and there's a reason why, we can squeeze a 30-second advert in while they're reviewing it, and we can fucking promote Bud Light, and they're going to give us fucking 300 million. Do you know what I mean? So there's, again, you've got to look into the reasons why they're thinking like this, and I think that's a part of the bigger conversation.
I mean, in terms, Brian and Suzy, of if it was just kind of, let's say, a FIFA council, if it was the IFAB, they never had a good reputation in the English managers game way back in the 70s and 80s, but they were generally there for the good of the sport. But Infantino seems to be in it for Infantino. I was looking up at his Wikipedia page. He doesn't seem to have any background in the game. He's a lawyer by trade. It seems like all of these things are good for Infantino. My thing is always, I don't like the game to be so different at the top level than it is in the Sunday League pub level. You should have pretty much the same game. That's kind of one of the things I didn't like about VAR. Because even within the professional pyramid, the fourth division doesn't have VAR. Yeah, we had FA Cup games where 5 games on the Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock have VAR, but the other 5 don't. It just seemed ridiculous.
Yeah.
But these decisions don't seem to be made for the good of the game, do they? They seem to be made for the good of somebody's bank account.
Yeah. I mean, but even to the point right there about Americanizing right there. So when MLS during its infancy right there used to have something called the shootout right there. I don't know what a lot of people don't realize.
The best thing America have ever invented is those version of penalties. It's the best version. By the way, I would change that rule tomorrow. Go ahead, Brian. I will bring it into across all football. Penalties, everyone's too good at kicking the football into the net. Make them start from the halfway line like in America. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. So again, right there, it never took weight. Now, was it exciting? Absolutely. I mean, it was exciting. It was a great conclusion right there to the match right there. But nobody ever came their grasp to it right there. Again, you're talking about as an American right there, on here, we want we're instant gratification society right there. I mean, honestly, right there. I mean, we want things right there. We want excitement. We want violence. We want things. That's just a bit. That's just the way on there. That's the way we were raised. I mean, with that, that's like, and it goes back to what you were going there saying right there. About the softer sport and stuff like that. That's part of the reason why football has never really took over in this country right there, because we want to see gridiron. We want to see NFL. We want to see people hitting people. We want to see wrestling. We want to see all these things right there in there. And again, right there, if they think of us even growing up as a kid right there, there was zero football, international football in this country when I was a kid. It was you basically went to little trial things, and then you did everything. Everything was about baseball, football, American football, and NBA and basketball. That's it. I mean, there was nothing else right there that of sports of any options right there that happened right there, and so you're dealing with a person who's from Gen X right there on that. That's how Gen X grew up that way. So even going into giving this thing there now, yes, I do agree that we are more open now, because I think the kids are more exposed to this right there, especially like Gen Y and those below them right there. They're definitely a lot more open up to these ideas right there. But it has to come there and be something that everybody in the world grasp. I mean, right there too, and to actually make the game. Let's just alter the entire game completely right there, man. And that's my point right there. Is like that. When does technology stop? And when does the game turn into something different than what the game was intended to be right there? I mean, because now I think we're trending on the borderline of changing everything right there. I mean, we're introducing way too much technology right there, and even if you introduce it right there, it's ineffective. It's ineffectively introduced right there. VAR, in my opinion, right there, has been a 50-50 shot, because I think there's been there, and it all goes back to what Sir Z said earlier right there. It's the people in the booth right there. The human element has caused more problems than it has what the intentions of it were supposed to be, of a group of people right there to make a right call, to right a wrong call. And it hasn't happened right there, because now you're basically having wrong calls that are being called. They're impacting games, impacting money, impacting seasons, things like that. So where do we go from here right there? I mean, overhaul VAR first, but then do this whole card thing and stuff like that. Overhaul that, get that fixed. Come there. We talked about a couple months ago right there, or maybe a year ago. have a panel of people go there and do it. Have an actual player, have an actual manager, and then have somebody, and then have an official right there. So you actually fix it. So you actually have 3 people come that can actually make an assessment on a call right there that goes there. In this like one toe via like offside calls, things like that. These are things right there that need to be fixed first right there before we go into throwing out cards right there for and requesting VAR.
Let me ask you 2 quick questions, though, Brian. The first one is if the American desire is for like bumps and fights and roughhousing, wouldn't rugby have made greater headway in this country, which has no pads with their roughhousing and bumps and everything? But it's a minority sport.
It goes back to the separation. It goes back to the separation of the game right there that happened right there. I mean, with it, because I mean, really, originally right there, American football started off as a version of rugby right there. I mean, and so it just expanded to something totally different than what it is. If you look back in the 20s and the early teens and the teens, there were no pads for American football, or very minimal pads. It just came there, escalated to this point right there where it is. So I mean, it's a version of rugby right there. If you want to say, for instance, right there, American football is.
I think that I want to question over you, right? The VAR arguments, and I'll get this, and Sergio, you probably have an opinion on this as well. This thing like the toe being offside, and that's not VAR. That's the law of the game.
Yeah.
So we have to change the law of the game, but we also have to establish there has to be a higher threshold to use VAR. I think that's the problem. I don't think VAR is the problem. It's the threshold that's getting used for. For example, Liverpool got a penalty, Galatasaray away, I think it was, which was never a penalty in a month of Sundays.
No.
And that's why it was used in the correct version of what it was meant to be used for. But what we're arguing is about, you're also about technology, and I agree with you in a sense. But the offside one is fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
You can't have so if we've got to change the law, then there's got to be, if you know what I mean, a certain distance or whatever between a player and a man. By the way, and I don't agree with that, because I remember there was an argument, and Macka says, you probably remember this. Oh, there's got to be daylight. Remember the daylight argument? There's got to be daylight between the defender and the attacker. Can I just say something? You do not want to give Alexander Isak daylight off Harry Maguire, because it's game over. So what happens then is, let's just say you change the law and say there's got to be daylight between the defender. Do you know what I mean? And that's when he's offside, and the striker. What does happen then? If you're Harry Maguire against Isak, what do? You drop back 15 yards.
Yeah.
You drop back 20 yards. Because you can't let him get on you, because there's daylight. If he's moving like that, right, and he's kind of he's stagnant, Harry Maguire, he's actually gone. He's gone. So you need to change the rule where it can fit that. So I don't think there's an answer for the offside. I don't think there is, and that's a bigger overall conversation. I suppose you cannot give daylight.
Well, we get Cersei in there in a second. He's been waiting patiently, but I just want to talk about that one though, because I've said this in the Discord, which everybody should be signed up to when they're liking and subscribing to this channel, as it is. Do so right now, or else. Is that the original reason for offside was to stop strikers' goal hanging, essentially. You know what I mean? And in what you're saying, do you think there's a need to go back to, well, what do we want offside for? Because I'm thinking differently. I might be misunderstanding you, but if I'm Harry Maguire and the rule is there has to be daylight between Isak and me for him to be offside, I'm pushing. I'm not dropping. I'm going to push. I'm going to create more daylight so it's even more obvious, which is essentially what they should be doing now anyway. You know what I mean? Like in the.
But if he's onside, he's got a 55-yard race to win against him. But if he drops back 30 yards deeper, he's only got a 5-yard race to get back in. Do you get what I'm saying? So, for example,
but like he's faster regardless of whether there's daylight. You know what I mean? Like if he's a step faster, it's
the distance you got to cover though to catch him.
No, I agree. I agree. But if you're playing a high line, even in the current rules now, that's still a factor. Now we're talking about how do we fix offside so that that's what I want. Not that I'm disagreeing.
Well, I think.
But the original intent is to stop launching the ball up to the guy. He was like, shaking hands with the goalkeeper, going, "Hey, a goal!"
It's the same with handball, isn't it? Handball was brought in so you don't pick up the ball with your hands. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same kind of conversation. The way I would do the offside, and again, this is where I think VAR would come in handy in that aspect. Of course, if a man's offside, he's offside. The line will flag it. You draw a line. You have 2 lines. If the 2 lines touch, you're offside. That's it. Doesn't matter what you buy. You have whatever it is, like a 5mm line on the computer. You draw another 5mm line off this arm, and if they're touching, you're offside. That's it.
But isn't the issue with that is what the criteria for where the line is? Do you know what I mean? Like if it's the toe or through the trunk.
So you got to pick the part of the body that you got to pick. So if you're leaning like this, you're the defender, and it's but the line's thrown off your toe, he's onside. He's onside. If the line's thrown off his toe, it doesn't matter how it looks. So I'm just kind of again that little conversation that we have to have. You know what I mean? Go on, Sergi.
See, the floor is yours for the next 40 minutes. Go ahead.
Very good.
Anyway, go on.
But the problem with VAR is that the game is lost its entertainment value because it seems like VAR is now there to try and prove or try and find a fault with the goal.
Yeah.
And try to find a way to disallow the goal.
I agree with that.
And that's a big issue. In terms of Brian and what you guys are saying about Americanization the game, I think the game is too simple for Americans, and they can't get their head around how simple it is, and they have to start throwing all these stats and strategics and tactics into it, and that's why you get XG. And who gives a fuck about XG? It's either a goal or it's not. That's it. I don't care about XG.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
None of that makes a difference to us as viewers of the game. It makes no difference.
Let me ask you this though, Susie, because Martin O'Neill said something similar in a recent interview on the BBC, I think it was, and he got it so very wrong about what XG was. He said, "Who's ever scored 0.75 of a goal?" But that's not what XG is saying. XG is saying in that particular location, 75% of the time you'll score. So penalty is always 0.75 XG.
But it depends who that person is, though. If you've got someone like Darwin Nunez,
it doesn't
in that spot compared to
it doesn't.
I'm with Cezi, yeah.
It doesn't. Anyway, they have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of data points which say that shots from X location is.
Point for someone like Michael Edwards or for Richard Hughes, who base their careers on buying players, and I understand where the XG matters in that sense. But to me, as a viewer of the game, once that final whistle goes, the only stat that matters is that final score. I don't care about XG or any of the others.
I think us old codgers are on board with that.
Stats are only brought up for trying to justify a shit player. Like that's what fucking frustrates me about them. Oh, there's XG's this, his long range passing is this. I know what a midfielder's meant to look like. I watch him and go, he's good or he's shit. Don't like his first touch, and that's the reason why I don't like him. But no, people are going, yeah, but his long range passing is 85%. You're trying to justify it. Watch him with your eyes. Your eyes can tell you you're a good player. Macka, you've been around footy long enough, and your eye can tell you. It's like this. I love this long throws are back in the Prem. Everyone's lost their mind. Long throws are back in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola doing long throws. Do you know why? Some fucking genius along the line has worked out. If you put the ball closer to the goal, you've got more chance of scoring. Who would have thought it?
But it's even like running stats for midfielders.
Oh my God.
Jan Moby never ran. I've never seen Jan Moby run. He was probably one of the best midfielders I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
I don't care how much you run.
Honestly, I'm loving the long throw. The long throw argument is fantastic. It's my new favourite thing this season. I won't get over it. Where everyone's going, you know what's really easy to score a goal? The closer we get to it. And I think if we can throw the ball really closely there, someone can stop it.
Do you know what
my only problem with the long throw is we can't fucking defend a long throw.
Do you know what I hate about the long throw stat being brought back in? Do you know what I hate about is that if Rory Delap was playing now, he'd be a Ballon d'Or. He'd be a Ballon d'Or player.
70 million he'll go for. Yeah. That's how much he costed you.
That poor bastard was born in the wrong time.
You know this though, we all watch footy. Yeah, we're going to go on to Liverpool, so we may as well mention them. Our biggest complaint now, we can't get the ball forward. It's our biggest complaint. We can't create. We don't create a chance. And when we do, they're not even that great. Oh, but he actually didn't tell me it was a good chance. No, I know from my eyes it wasn't a good chance. I know what a good chance is. When a lad goes on and keep it, it's a good chance.
Here's why we missed you last time when it was me and Brian. The stats actually show, we play more balls into the penalty area than any other team in the league.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But this is the thing about the stats is that our eye test says we play too many.
Yeah.
We play too many, but we're also not suffering for, like, let's say, like the way like Celtic are talking about Brendan Rodgers up there, like they never get the ball forward. It's literally fullback, centre back, fullback, centre back, fullback, centre back, fullback.
Yeah, but when you have 75% of the possession, you're going to get the ball in the box more, or 65%.
Oh yeah.
On average in a Liverpool game. So you're going to get the ball in the box more. So that's where the stats can lie to you again.
But that's that's a good point. Yeah,
the stats are lying to you. This is what I'm saying. We know with our eyes. We know what a good chance is, gents. We've watched enough footy. I don't need a little fucking nerd with a laptop to tell me what a good chance is. I don't need it. I know when a player's playing garbage. I'm watching him. I can see it. I don't need you to pull out the stats going, oh, Gravenberch isn't fucking running a lot. Yeah, I know. I've just watched him for 90 minutes. Really good out of second gear. Look, with a fucking caravan. I'm watching McAllister. Oh, see McAllister there. His high pressing wasn't great today. I know. It looks like he's running gravy. I understand. Honestly, mate, on these fucking niggas.
Can I just say,
welcome back, Kazi.
Can I? Yeah, not welcome back, Kazi. But that rant is done with the full passion and anger of a man who now has a mortgage.
It is, yeah. I genuinely, I know, because lads, all I'm saying is, I know, like the audience that we're listening to and things like that. When you're watching enough football, you know what a good football player is. You know, you watch them with your eyes, gents. We know when someone's played well. A player scores 2 these days and they go, he wasn't that great today. He scored fucking 2. Like, the name of the game is to score a goal. Like, I don't, it's like the Salah thing. I love this argument at the moment. Salah isn't playing well. Salah isn't great. Oh, yeah, I know. He hasn't played well. I'm not arguing that. But he'll probably get me 14 winners this season. So I can swallow it. So, but he hasn't had a great season, has he? Hey, lads, he'll probably walk off with 19 goals this season. Go and find me a winger who's going to get another 19. And I'll argue with you. But he wasn't great for 85 minutes of the game. Yeah, but he scored and we won 1-0. So I'm not
I like to think that those are people who never watched Gary Lineker play.
It's the same with Haaland.
Exactly.
It's the same with Haaland at City. Haaland's never in the game. He's only had 4 touches in the first half. Hey, lad, they won 2.
He scored 3 of them.
He scored 2 of them.
Why is he asked? He's not asked. So all I'm saying is, gents, it's like, I think, going back to the Brian point of technology, I think stats have kind of blinded people's minds about the football players. They've just blinded you. Again, I'm looking at Florian Wirtz. I know the stats come out this week that he's created loads of chances. And he has, because I'm looking at him going, fucking hell, he looks all right to me. He looks tardy. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm looking at Kirkus, for example, and going, you're running like you've got fucking Levi's on. You look awful. But I don't think it's his fault. But I think that's a tactical setup. But I'm also looking going, you're playing garbage. Oh, yeah, but you've got to give him I know, I'm going to give him a chance, but you can still call someone garbage anyway. I'm not writing the lad off. I'm just saying he's playing garbage. I just think we've all got so like intertwined of trying to justify a player's good performance by putting out these wild stats that I've never heard of, by the way.
But that's the recognition of the game. No offense, Brian, but that's what they've done. I
just want to say that assessment from Cosy there sounded like every ex-girlfriend I had before I met my wife.
But again,
he'd say he's a good guy, but he's also garbage.
Yeah,
see, all the stats feed into fantasy football. That's all that, and it all goes back into gambling. It all wraps into the whole thing right there. So the big reason why, because you never heard about stats like that, like all these like the entire breakdown of stats right there that you until the fantasy leagues, fantasy football, all of that shit started up right there. And that's when all this stuff really started rolling out right there. Hey, I mean, pass completion, sure, I give you that. Those things like that, those are actually meaningful stats in there. But I can't do all the other stats and getting points off of your stats right there because I think fantasy football is trash. Every single thing, all these fantasy leagues are trash in my opinion. I don't follow that crap.
The pass completion was one of my favourites as well. Oh, you know, his pass completion's 97%. Yeah, I watched him. He didn't give the ball away. So I knew his pass completion. I didn't have to be told it. It's the same with Curtis Jones. When Curtis Jones had the run on the side last year and they go, fucking hell, he's playing well, isn't he? Why? His pass complete. Yeah, he just doesn't give the ball away. He gets the ball in tight areas and pops it to a player. That's all I asked for.
A sideways pass is still a completion. Like they're just
the other part. A sideways pass is a completion. How many's going forward?
Exactly.
Let's not get too excited.
I'm on my soapbox. I bet you, in the last 3 games, Van Dijk and Canate's pass completion between each other is 100%.
Right.
Games and they'll pass the ball forward. So I'll do that.
All I want to say is, though, with the side-to-side pass completion, don't mock it because Manchester United once had Marouane Fellaini pass a ball off the field. Sideways.
I see Simon Mignolet have to go a ball on a goal kick and pass it out for the corner. I remember that game. I can't remember. It was a European game. I think he passed it for a corner. All I'm saying is, watch the lads and judge them by your eye. We're not saying when people can't go, we played shit today. You can't say that. I just watched him. I thought he was shit. You might have thought he was good. And that's football. It's different opinions, and that's fine. And that's what makes all sport and all the world fantastic, that everyone has different opinions. But my God, watch your lad and judge him by what you're watching on the football field, not by what a fucking nerd tells you with a laptop. You see a 17-year-old with a fucking laptop who's marking someone as 50% chance on fancy football. That's what that fucking apprenticeship job is to do nerd stuff like that. Watch him again. I'm good now.
Hey, thank William Hill for that shit. That's all I can say right there.
Anyway, Reds are playing a game of footy, aren't they? Against someone else who plays sideways.
No, we're not on that one yet. We're sticking slightly with stats, slightly. Now, these players here during the international break received a little ceremony where they got like honorary medals for taking part in these league seasons. And you know, they played. They were important players for Liverpool's history. I mean, nobody's ever going to deny David Fairclough his laurels or Chris Lawler playing an FA Cup final with it was Jerry Bourne, wasn't it? Or was it Chris Lawler? Played the FA Cup final with the broken collarbone. Was that Chris Lawler? I think it was.
It was Lawler. Yeah.
Yeah. Jan Malby, who we just talked about, a tub of lard with silken feet. You know, here's my question, because we talked about there's also others that got some previously. Colin Irwin, now maybe he's going to live off those. And Joey Jones get one posthumously. Now, but he's had 13 appearances for that season, so you know you can say he played a part. We talk about, like, you know, it's a nice little segue from talking about kids being made soft. I hate to sound like an old fart, but you know, I'm coming across, you know, 20-year-olds, 20-somethings who are not used to any sort of adversity. You know, they're not used to any sort of, well, that didn't work out for me, so I'm just going to give up on it, instead of, well, that didn't work out for me. What can I learn from it and do better the next time? I know they're only honorary medals, but is there a case to be made that, you know, we're just getting a bit emotional there? You know, they've won other things. Well, why give them a medal for 3 appearances?
I think for them players, especially given a time when they played, I think the PFA have let these players down so badly. You look at some of these, I don't know why PFA exists, and they don't look after the welfare of players. So some of these older players obviously didn't have the wages that these new players are getting. So I think it's a nice gesture just for them to have achieved something. And also, you know, they look at the game in envy now. You know, I mean, these, you know, you've got 18-year-olds running around like millionaires. You know, and these players, like, you know, they pretty much put their life on the line with these games. You know, some of them getting dementia and Alzheimer's because of, you know, heading heavier ball and so forth. So I'm all for it. And looking at Paul Walsh, I think it's the last good London player we've ever had. I can't remember a London player that we've had since Paul Walsh that's actually earned wearing a red shirt.
Yeah, you're right there. I always say Adam Lallana is the best ever Southern player, but I don't know about London. Adam Lallana's our best ever Southern player. Yeah. And that's wild. But yeah, I know. Mark, I've got to disagree. This is a different time in terms of, I think you had to be on. It's like the European Cup final. You had to be in the bench.
You had to be on the bench. Yeah. Well, I think there was time you had to actually get on the field as well.
Yeah,
like you couldn't be the 14th man and you weren't getting anything.
Because the reason why I mentioned this, I just watched the Howard Gale documentary with Kirsty Jones. Video, tremendous. He plays fucking like 80 odd minutes in the European Cup semi-final. Yeah. Doesn't get on the bench. Doesn't get a medal. I just feel like, you know, so I do think we have to go back and right these wrongs. Like this happened. I think fucking hell, someone else in the World Cup final, 66, Liverpool, Roger Hunt didn't get a medal. Yeah. Roger Hunt didn't get a, but I think he played. I think he definitely played 1 or 2 games in the
He scored. Yeah.
I think he got injured or something, like a minor knock or something, that wasn't it?
I can't remember. He wasn't on the bench. He doesn't get a World Cup winners medal. I just feel like we have to go back and right these wrongs. Do you know what I mean? And I know what you're saying. Like they have won other people have won other things for Liverpool, and that's a completely fair argument. But I just feel like, you know, these lads have contributed in a way, and it doesn't matter when you go back and do your wrong, but as long as you right the wrong, and it's nice to see them going back. And by the way, they would have had to work with the FA to get these medals or copies of these medals as well. They would have had to work with whoever it was at the time. I think it was the FA because the Premier League never existed. So, Yeah, man. No, it's lovely to see. It's lovely. It really is. And going to hand Joey Jones' family another League Cup, League title medal. It's just that, and it's nice for, again, people like Chris Lawler, and I know probably knocking on an age because he played in the 60s when he got, you know what I mean? He was under the Shankly and that, knocking on an age to show your grandkids and that, going, yeah, there you go. Do you know what I mean? It's just I think that's a lovely thing. So,
Brian, I want to ask you this now, because obviously you're the American in the contingent. Like if you're in an NFL football team, there's 500 people on the roster. There's like 30-something people on the roster.
It's like it's changed so much right there. Yeah,
but you may take like one field goal in the regular season or something like that, or come out and just do the onside return or whatever it's called. But you get a Super Bowl medal if your team wins, regardless, don't you?
Yes.
There is that side of it as well. It is very inclusive, isn't it? It's not maybe you didn't drive us the bus all the way there, but you changed the tire when we needed to change that one moment.
I think you go with the whole point right there is.
I think the tea lady gets a medal in the NFL. I think they get the ring like a tea lady gets one, like the accountant gets one. Everyone gets one. Do you know what I mean?
The entire organization gets one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. But I think
what about the stats nerds? Did they get one?
Oh,
big and black eyes.
Not
0.75 expected medals.
I'm gonna get a headset to watch the match on the weekend. Just put a headset on in my house just in case something happens. Someone kicks off.
But I think even yes, I mean. I see what I'm with what Kazi says right there. I think that you have to actually go and look back at if we're at the same standards right there that we're thinking about right there as far as like who gets awarded a medal right there. If you're in the process they're coming through and doing of like in that tournament or in the league right there, and you've done it and you've came into enough teams, say for instance like Chiesa last year. Chiesa played just enough matches right there to go through to achieve that medal right there. If you've made enough appearances to impact the season, I mean at the set number right there, then yeah, go back retroactively right there with all these other players right there who actually came through and did the same thing. If you're going to have a set standard right there that goes through there, which goes back to all the players right there, I mean, who actually participated through there. Because what is it, 5 matches, I think, or I forgot how many matches it is right there. You have to. I think it's 5, right?
5 appearances.
Yeah, 5 appearances. So if you go back in there right there, you're going to see a lot of players right there who are going to probably wind up getting league medals on that part right there. So I'm okay with it. I'm good with it. I mean, I think it really is. It's a good gesture right there. I mean, for them to go back and say, "Hey, you did contribute to this right there." And I think it needs to actually go to UEFA right there. Actually, even go for the European Cups right there too. If you think about that, because there's some players right there who had a great impact right there on the league side right there, or on the back early seasons who got injured right there, and like the semifinals or quarterfinals. Who couldn't get that? Who never got a medal? Who rightly deserved to have that medal?
Yeah.
Let's kind of nicely segue there because I want to spend more time talking about the game that we get because we haven't had a game for a while. So we get to talk about the stats. We get to talk about the nerds. We get to talk to Sir Z about his new slower lifestyle in Texas, but we have a game this weekend and it's against these guys here with their their no 6 European Cups like we have, and they're not getting honorary ones either. 3 losses on the bounce. It wouldn't be. I mean, we're not calling for the manager's head or anything like that, but 4 losses on the bounce for a Liverpool manager is a bit of pressure. How are we feeling about this game? I don't know if I think Jayden Danns is the only Liverpool injury I've seen, which is nothing to do with the international break, but he's the only player I saw that had any sort of knock or anything like that. I think everybody comes back relatively healthy, don't they? We should have like a full deck to pick from. How are we, other than whoever was not available beforehand that we know about, how are we feeling about this game? It's an important game for United as well, for their manager. Is there extra needle in this? Is there extra pressure on it for Slot, or is it's just the next game? What do we think?
It's probably Arne Slot's biggest game for a long time. We're going to find out if we are the real deal. I think the game is big enough on its own anyway, but it's it also means that it's a big enough game, but you're playing a team who are not in great shape, which is great because basically the eyes are on you. It's nice to be back at Anfield. Let me tell you, it's nice to have an own game again. Liverpool have been on a hard run. I think we've had the hardest start of all of anyone. I can argue Arsenal, but Arsenal have played Leeds at home and West Ham at home, I think, and Forest at home. And they're playing Angers, Forest at home, by the way.
Yeah.
Jesus, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, they've had some nice home games. We played Bournemouth, who look like the best team I've ever seen. Derby, Everton, the Derby, and Arsenal at home. So Liverpool have even had tough home games. I'm hoping that this kind of lightens the load a little bit in terms of getting off to the right start. We're going to Brentford away, and you want to talk about long throws. Jesus Christ, watch Brentford lately. But yeah, so it's a humongous game of football. Liverpool don't lose 3 on the bounce, and fucking they should never lose 4 on the bounce. I think the last time we haven't lost 4 on the bounce in 36 years.
No, oh my God, yeah.
You know, that's how serious this is. But I actually fancy us, and I fancy us big time, which is rare for me. But my God, they've got to improve, and they have to improve fucking quickly because I think the manager's lost his head a bit. I think he's lost his head. I thought he lost his head against Chelsea. I think he got so in his own fucking mind by trying to tactically outthink people, where he should just go, you know what? We're 7 games into a season. We are away at Stamford Bridge, and for 30 minutes, I've just watched Gravenberch play centre half and Szoboszlai play right back. When you had a centre half and a right back on the bench, one of them that you signed 8 weeks ago. So I think he has to really answer for that, you know. He has to really answer for that. Joe, like if you ever look back on someone's tenure, you always look at weird games and go, man, remember when Manager did that? Joe, remember when Jurgen Klopp go down to Brighton, win 5-1, he played 3 at the back, and he never did it ever again. He played Emre Can and Gino Wijnaldum centre half, and we won 5-1, and everyone's heads fell off. So we always remember little tactical things like that about a manager. That'll stick to me. 7 games. The only way that you're playing 2 centre mids in your defence 7 games in is that you've lost your marbles, or you have a humongous injury crisis. And Liverpool have not got a humongous injury crisis. Yeah. So the manager, to me, this is a huge step up now. Okay, we'll forgive you there. You've went to Palace, who were on an 18-game unbeaten run. You've lost to the last minute. You've lost to the last minute at Chelsea. We also have to figure out, gents. We have to, and I thought we did this pretty well last year at times. We need to remember when a point's a good point. We need to remember, you know, and you know, the Endo sub was one of the worst substitutions I've ever seen against Chelsea. I don't know why he did it, and if he did it for the reason of it, he's trying to shore it up. If you actually go back and watch the highlights before the goal, the second Chelsea goal, Endo's bombing down the right hand side. So why the fuck have you brought Endo on then if you're telling him to do that? And if you haven't told Endo to do that, Endo shouldn't kick a ball again until fucking Christmas, because he's went against what you're doing. So massive game of football, just not in terms of who you're playing. By the way, if Liverpool playing Wolves at home this weekend, it's a massive game of football. You know what I mean? Because Liverpool have to win the football match. So it's just a matter of who you're playing, of course, but it's an extra little cherry on the cake.
So Z, there was a little bit of hullabaloo in Sweden around Alexander Isak, the manager, like subsequently fired from there. The Swedish manager, although he's Danish. Yeah, Dal Thomason. He was a fantastic little player, and he's like,
missed the penalty in the Istanbul, didn't he?
And he was also a fantastic little player for being on the end of all the long throws.
Yes. Yeah. Newcastle,
this show just keeps like winding around itself all the way through. Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah. But Susie, it's, you know, Isak has not looked like the value of what we've paid for him, but he also has not match fit. You know, he's. I think somebody said, I don't know who it was an ex-player said he's basically still in pre-season. He hasn't done proper work because of the transfer stuff. So we should start to see more of the real Alexander Isak. If you want to make a statement of intent, if you want to say, look, here's who I really am, scoring a goal or 2 against Man United is the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's with any player. I'm just worried if Isak scores against Man United, he's just going to paper over the cracks. I mean, it's off his own doing. You know, obviously, I'm glad we have him, and obviously, I'm ecstatic that we bought him. But out of all the players that we've bought, Ekitike is the one that impresses me the most, and I think he's undroppable. I'd play Ekitike all day long, even if it means Isak comes off the bench.
Would you play him on the left-hand side?
No, I'd play him as a striker.
Would you play 2 up front?
it's hard for me to make that judgment because I haven't watched the last 2 games out of just because the Palace game just totally did my head in. I mean, I know by all accounts Salah hasn't, he hasn't been his usual self. On the left, I think Gakpo, he needs to be dropped, and for whatever reason, Slot's not dropping him. I just think Ekitike. I just look at his movement, and he just seems just so unplayable. He looks deceiving. He just gets that ball, and the control and confidence he has in front of the goal is just it's probably the best that we have in the team right now.
Played on the left, for France this week.
Yeah, and I heard he did well. Yeah,
he did all right. He insisted Mbappe. It's actually a lovely touch. Mbappe goes on like a worldy run from the halfway line. I don't know if anyone's seen it. He takes on like 3 players, and then he kind of loses it. And Ekitike just puts it back into his path for him. Mbappe gets it first time. It's a lovely goal. You're watching. But Ekitike supposed to play well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge game. Obviously, it's a huge game. Even if we, be 100% for the season, it'd still be a huge game. It's just one. It's we just have to win, and we just got to stop conceding. That's the other thing. We have to stop conceding, and I think Konate is injured, so we just have to see how much.
Is he? Yeah?
That's the worst guess ever. So he's obviously injured.
Yeah,
it's a day of the week,
other day, didn't he? Yeah, he came off the other day.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he did. Yeah.
So who does he play? Hopefully, he doesn't play Gravenberch in central defense.
I think Konate's fit. I think he is fit. I think he played a bit. I can't remember.
I know he got sent home early, so
I'm hoping he's not fit.
But either way, I mean, it's not like whether he plays or not. I don't think it's going to be a miss if he doesn't play.
I know.
I play Gomez.
I
think give Gomez a chance with Van Dijk because Konate is just completely having a mare of a season. It's just such a horror. I feel like it's going to be a really horrible game. I think as much as we all think like this is the game that we're going to turn a corner in, I just think it's going to be a horrible game, and we might just edge it, but it's more going to flatter Man United more than anything.
Brian, what way do you think the midfield is going to shape up? Let's assume Gravenberch number 6, but Gravenberch has to play as a number 6. He's doing too much Stevie Gerrard heroics in the bad Brendan Rodgers season. But we need him. But there's McAllister. Do you give him another chance, even though he's been off the boil? Does Curtis Jones claim a spot in there because he's solid? And as we discussed, he doesn't lose the ball practically ever. Does Szoboszlai get rewarded for his good form? And does Wirtz get to watch from the bench? It's a lot of conundrums there for the manager, isn't it? And he has to get it right.
First of all, Szoboszlai's not a right back. Why do you buy a right back right there when you're actually putting him in that position right there? Quit putting square pegs in round holes. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the way I feel about that. Did any of you guys read Connor Cody's article that he wrote about the whole thing about Konate right there? So part of the problem right there that Connor Cody was addressing would made sense right there because he said right there that Gravenberch right there keeps on making these runs and you're basically leaving Konate out to hang because also your same right back is making the same run and Gravenberch's making a run, and so you're basically leaving Konate out to hang right there. Not to defend Konate right there for some of the dumb things that he does right there, but it makes sense right there to why we're having so much trouble on that right hand side at a lot of times there is because you're leaving him out hung out to dry. So I mean that makes a lot of sense there. I said right there a couple weeks ago right there that I think that Gravenberch's that McAllister's form is still questionable right there, but also I mean. We're coming there and we're not even really playing Jones as well as we could play Jones right there. So I really think that the double pivot needs to come there and go back to the way the double pivot was last year because I think that it's not doing what it is doing last year. There seems to be like a little bit of a change right there as far as like what the role is of that of those two the two players who are playing in the back. Are we playing with those guys are actually making our time and runs out? Or are we not right there? Because it seems like both of them are going forward at the same time. And so you're leaving a lot of empty space back behind there, which is causing more problems. So overall, the thing is right there is that you need to have a designated number 6 and back there to shore, and you don't have a designated number 6 on this side at the moment right now because Gravenberg is not a number 6 and McAllister is not a number 6. So this is like kind of a Fabinho, a time when you need a Fabinho type player right there to go up and drop. And Kazi, I talked about this like a couple months ago. You need to go there and have somebody. If you're going to make these guys make runs, you need to go there and have a player that can drop back and make a back three right there, a back three to shore up defense right there. And so if you don't have that, then you're going to constantly get people are know what we're doing. They're exploiting our weaknesses, right? So which is a problem there. So with this midfield, I don't think it's time to abandon Wirtz right there. I don't think you're playing. I don't think that Wirtz, if you watch him, is trying to make these runs and make these plays right there. The players aren't just actually following through with what he's doing right there. I mean, so I think that that so many people are focusing on this failure from Wirtz right there, but it's really not a failure. Wirtz is a failure of what the system is doing right there and players who aren't playing the system. And like Macka talked about last week, sorry, Kazi. Macka and I talked about last week right there is that if you look at how we're lined up, we're going into a 4-2-3-1 right there, basically what formation we've gone into, which means that you have two central attack, which you have Wirtz in the middle right there running a free roll, and you have two central attacking midfielders. Mo Salah doesn't play as a central attacking midfielder, and I think that's kind of part of the problem right there that's happening right there. Should we drop Mo? No. But also, you're not having Mo come out there and actually go run back and actually go out there and make make the moves that a central attacking midfielder would do, which is drop back to the halfway point and actually defend and do those things. Where Mo is still in the mindset of playing a 4-3-3, where he's actually coming there doing that, which is called an interference on that right hand side. So those are my things. The conundrum that I have on there is that. With Serzi's not playing Ikiteke on the left-hand side, yes, I would play Ikiteke as a left attacking midfielder. But the thing is, talking to Mo as a 31-year-old right there, it's hard to teach a player to come there and play a different role than what they've always played right there. Mo Salah is an attacking player. He's not a midfielder.
I don't think
I don't want to jump on you there too much, Cosby, but because Dara's complaining about us not reading the chat. We do read the chats, but it's not Q&A session, my friend. But you do make up a good point. We talked about this before. I think me and Brian. If we know that Salah isn't going to come back and defend, would a 4-4-2 be a better idea for us, where he's a striker?
I don't mind the argument of a 4-4-2. I can have that argument. You know what I mean? I was completely against the 4-4-2, right? Because it outnumbers you in midfield so much. Right, especially in this day and age, it does not work. But the reason why I don't think it's working right now is because of the fullbacks. He's not letting Kirkes go. He's just. I'm sorry. We've all seen Kirkes' heat map, for example. We know he's not getting forward anyway. He fucking hung him out to dry against Palace. He hung him out to dry doing Wirtz on that left wing when they play 5 at the back with an attacking fullback, knowing that he's going to get no support, and Munoz just ran past him 65 times. Never mind the other forward that he played. You have to. I think we're at the stage here where you just got to back for Frimpong and just go get past Salah. Just do me a favour. What's my job today, Gaffer? Run past Salah. I'm not interested in the centre half. If that centre half can't defend 1-on-1, I'll deal with him. Because you're at Liverpool Football Club, you got to be able to defend 1-on-1, right? You just have to. So the Conor Cody piece that is kind of written, and that's a load of shite. Because when you're at a top club, you've got to defend 1-on-1, and he's done it before, and I've seen him do it before. So we can do it again. Frimpong, by the way, this argument of always getting left exposed at the centre half, he just played 3 years with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He wants to walk exposed, right? So get your own game into fucking gear. But you tell Frimpong, get past Salah. Why? Salah can cut in, you're taking the fullback away, and let the lad isolate a centre half and do what he can do. And you can tell Wirtz when he makes those late runs into the box and Isak and Gakpo, especially Gakpo's back post run, and let Salah keep swinging that ball in for you, or keep trying to swing one top in. But there has to be that argument, though. But the problem is, though, Brian, right? We're at a stage, I think. What are Liverpool going to do if they try something new? The form goes out the window. We haven't got any form. There's zero form.
We have bad form.
That's what I'm saying. Try something. How about back your 2 fullbacks that you signed? You wanted them. Then let them. Why did you sign him? I didn't.
Crap.
You didn't look at Milos Kerkez and Frimpong and go, fucking hell, he's a really great defender, you know. No, you sign them because they can get the ball forward and they can run forward. Because, my God, that's what I want them for. You signed Frimpong because he was a wing-back. We've all come along, but I was saying to you in the summer, that lad is not a right-back, he's a wing-back. If he plays him right-back, at least you're going to get him attacking. He's trying to play him as a full-back. He's not a full-back. Conor Bradley is literally making his own bed every first half by getting booked. Stop getting booked. This is not... By the way, gents, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're all not trying to reinvent the wheel by just saying, hey, Joe, those two boss fullbacks that you've got are really good attacking but not really good defenders, let them attack. Am I trying to reinvent something? Am I trying to say to Ryan Gravenberch, you know what, like, could you just do a bit of box-to-box stuff? A little bit. Any chance you want to just, because you're a midfield player, Alexis McAllister, don't give the ball away. Oh my God. Are you sure? I don't know if I can teach Alexis McAllister not to give the ball away on the edge of his own box. So we can talk about positions and movements and formations, but also there's some fucking basics to football as well that we're not doing. And that's the frustrating part. Gents, it's the long throw argument. You score more goals when the ball is closer to their box. So how about, I don't know, pass the ball fucking forward and take a chance. I will never ever slate Florian Wirtz at Liverpool. Do you know why? Because every time he gets the ball away, he's trying to pass the ball forward.
Yes.
He's trying to make the dangerous pass. If he's making the backward passes, giving the ball away, I'll fucking hang him out to dry. But if you're going to give the ball away, taking chances and taking opportunities and trying to beat a man, I've got no issue with it because you're trying to score a goal. But that's why I don't understand the slating. The slating is because of the price tag, and he's gonna have to hang his head on that. But the kid's 22 years of age. He's 22. He's basically single-handedly carried Bayer Leverkusen to a title at 19, 20. So we also need to have that balance. But again, all I want to see out of Liverpool this weekend, lads, is back to basics. You win your battles, you pass the ball forward, and you try and win a fucking football match at home.
Let me throw a stat at you because I know you love the stats. Let me throw a stat at you.
Why not? 400 dreadlocks on his head. Does that make a difference? Come on, tell me.
Here's the stat. We have the lowest amount of shots from outside the box in the league.
And by the way,
isn't that ridiculous for a team that's trying to win games with players that can hit the ball from outside the box?
Amazing. Actually, I'll even go along with that stat because it's how funny it is. When we have 75% of the ball and we can't break down a low block, no one wants to shoot from outside the box.
Yeah.
We have Dominic Szoboszlai picking up the ball from 25 yards and he goes, I can't be arsed. I've already scored my one for the season. I can't be arsed.
The player who has TikToks coming out of his ears for Hungary, smashing shots from outside the box. The English weather's a bit different here. The ball doesn't go as well. It's overinflated. Yeah, take a chance.
I've seen a couple of deflections against us go in the net when the lad's shooting from fucking behind the box. Do you know what I mean? I think Caicedo's against Brighton away, I think. But he smashed one up in a deflected and went in. And he took a chance. Take a chance.
Do you think this whole thing is going back down to like working for perfection, looking for that perfect pass, that perfect opportunity?
It's almost Wenger-like, isn't it? Walking the ball into the net.
It's being scared.
That's what it is. It's fear.
It's being
precise.
You're being too precise. I don't think you're trying to score the perfect goal. It's trying to create the best opportunity. When sometimes a ball can just go in off someone's ass.
Let me ask you though, Cosy, what do you think they're afraid of?
I think they're afraid of giving the ball away. They're afraid of getting the ball.
No, but why would they be afraid? That'd be the interesting.
Because I think Liverpool were very good last season of shutting games out at 2-0 up. Yeah. I think Liverpool won about 9-10 games last year, 2-0 up. Just shut games out. We tried to do it this season. They've been punished. So I think when Liverpool, early on the season, we get to the other three games in a second, but early on the season, I think Liverpool got to 2-0 and they were stuck between a rock and a hard place, whether to stick or twist. I will always twist and go and get the third and try and see a game out or go and get the third, right? And then you can really see a game out. So I think they've been stuck with that. I think what's happened is against Palace, when you're not... This is football mentality, and we all know this because we've watched a lot of football, right? Acknowledge when a point's a good point. You can walk out to Palace there, Sellers Park, and go, fucking hell, we were absolutely garbage there, right? But fucking hell, you know, Palace away, Arsenal might not go there and win. Which they might not, because Palace are a good side. Liverpool, I've shit the bed. Milos Kerkez can't use his right foot, kicks a ball out for a throw-in, and we can't defend the throw-in. And he can't use his right foot. The manager's argument was, I've seen the manager's post-match where he goes, we tried to win the game, and I was fed up with, I think it wasn't Gakpo, but anyway, what someone did on the wing, and he gave the ball away. No, Milos Kerkez a swizzle on the edge of his box and kicks the ball out for a throw-in because he thought the time was up. Hey, lads, I don't know if you know this. Macka and Sizzy, you'll like this. This is hilarious. So the professional football player thought the time was up. What's the first thing you get told when you're a kid? Play to the whistle.
Play to the whistle.
Yep.
So the time's not up, kid. By the way, you can't use your right foot. Shouldn't be at Liverpool. If you can't use your right foot,
you should be a professional player.
Maybe Beckham made it okay.
I wouldn't give you your chances for the Sunday League either if you couldn't use your other foot.
By the way, I can swallow Galatasaray because it's not a penalty. It's never a pen, right? But okay, it's hard lines. It's a penalty. They've scored 1-0. If Ekatike just wants to take one of his chances that he creates, that'll be fine. Liverpool go on and win the game comfortably. Chelsea, for 20 minutes in the second half, Liverpool are great. For the first 20, we're great. Don't create anything. We don't create a chance. So with this thing of like, this is kind of the balance of what the stats tell you and what your eyes tell you. My eyes told me that Liverpool were great, but we didn't create anything. So are we great? What I'm getting at is, though, gents, right? There, again, realise when it's a good point. This is your brain IQ. This is football IQ, like Alexis McAllister's got. Loads of it. Virgil van Dijk, all the experience in the world. Andy Robertson. Hey, lads, we've been garbage here. We're away at the bridge. 1-1 sound, you know. We've lost 2 on the bounce. 1-1 sound. No. We got Watoro Wendo bombing down the right wing. I genuinely think right now, off the shit, I could beat him in a foot race. And he's past the fullback.
I could probably beat him in a foot race, and I don't have an Achilles tendon in my right leg.
Fella, honestly, I genuinely, on the bus on the way home, no, gents, this is the thing. We've all played somewhat of a sport along the line. It doesn't matter what sport it is. You all sit there and go, fucking hell, didn't play well there, lads. We got away with one. Yeah. Hey, lads, we've just played with 2 fucking midfielders in defence for half an hour, and we've got a point away at the bridge. By the way, I think they're unbeaten there since January. I think at the bridge, or they've lost 1 or 2. I can't remember. Maybe 1. Brighton, maybe. You can look and go, good point there. No, we've got our fucking number 6, 32-year-old Japanese kid running to try and score a goal. What are we doing? Use your brain. And that's all I'm saying. I want Liverpool to be smarter, cleverer, quicker, pass the ball forward. If Liverpool walk off the pitch and they've lost against United, they've had 25 shots and their keeper's man of the match. I'm all right with it. I am all right with it. But my God, we don't have the shots anymore.
Susie, let's finish up the kind of the analysis of the game. Do you have any worries with Omar Dashvili in goal against Man United?
Yeah, I mean, I think shot stopping, he seems okay. I think his distribution is poor, and I just think, God, what I'll do to Kelleher back.
It's hilarious. We kept. The centre-half kept passing the ball to his right foot. Like, they forgot he had a left foot. They forgot he was left-footed. Every time they passed the ball back, he had to put it on his left. And I was like, you're just delaying the game, letting a striker get an extra couple of seconds on because they kept passing it back to his right foot. But anyway, please continue.
It's just the intelligence. It just seems like the intelligence has gone out of these players. And I don't know what it is. It's like, I think last season, it just seems like Slot got these players and you just let them do what they kind of want to do, but within a certain restriction, and they play to their strengths. I think now it's just like Mourinho. It's like it just seems like they're all being micromanaged, and no one knows what they're doing. And somehow we got away with 5 wins, and we got caught out. And we got caught out by a good Palace team, by a good manager. And like I said, I didn't see the Chelsea game, but I mean, I could see the way it was, the fact that Gakpo played, and despite him scoring, I just knew how it was going to go. Gakpo slows the game down. And I knew when we sold Diaz, I knew we were going to regret that sell. Because Gakpo, as intelligent as he is, he slows the game down. And there are times when we need someone like Diaz who all he knows how to do is attack. He'll run into cul-de-sacs or whatever, but he gives the fullback something to think about. Gakpo doesn't. He just slows it. He just slows it down, and he just wants to cut in all the time and shoot with his right, and it's too predictable down the left.
He's easiest winger in the league to play against.
Yes, 100%.
100%. No one's asked. And that's why I genuinely think, I'm not saying let's start Rio, far from it, but I reckon if you asked any of their fullbacks on the weekend who'd you rather play against, Gakpo or Rio, they'll all say Gakpo.
Yeah.
Wild, innit? But there we go.
I mean, I kind of want to see Rio because I like talented. Talented. They won't, but I'd like to see him because I think
you'll do better, Tika.
He probably does.
Yes.
Yeah, he probably
Yep.
does.
I think he'll do Ekatike left wing. I think he'll do Isaac Annabelle and then do Salah and then do Wirtz. I don't know what midfield. I have no idea. Pick his midfield. You can put them all, toss them all up in the air, whatever lands on the floor. They're the two. Honestly, I don't care who they are. Don't care. Oh, Gravenberch has to. Does he? Does he? What have you seen on him? I don't think.
Not the way he's played this season.
I think he will start. I'm not saying, but like this, I hate this undroppable thing. When you've lost 3 on the bounce, everyone's droppable. No. Everyone's droppable at Liverpool when you've lost 3 on the bounce at this football club. I don't know, the football club maybe not. Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk should be droppable. But by the way, Van Dijk's been great. But I mean, again, he's fucking awful for the Caicedo goal. It's one of the worst pieces of defending I've ever seen from a fucking experience. Seriously, don't go and watch it back. You'll have PTSD.
Oh no, that was terrible. Terrible.
Score predictions. I've got to get out of here and be dinner. Come on.
Yes, let's do our score predictions. But what we know right now for the weekend, we go Brian, Suzie, and Cozzy. What have you got, Brian? What do you think?
2-1. I think this could be something stupid right there, but I think that overall right there, I think that we will go in there and pull it out. I mean, I think there's a point in this side right there where they lose mentality in the second half, or if we get an early goal, if they get an early goal right there, then it could be a struggle. It could be a serious struggle. But I'm going to go with 2-1.
Suzie?
I'm going to go for 2-2.
Oh, safe.
I just, I just think the pressure's too much on us, and it's going to be the game of the season for Man United, and it'll be 2-2, and then Man United get trounced 5-0 in the next game.
Tony in the studio says draw. I'm going to say 3-0, but either way, I think if we win, I think we're going to win well. But if we lose, we're going to get absolutely smacked.
We are not losing 3-0.
We're going to get smacked if we lose.
I'll quit football if that happens.
I think this is serious. No, this is the serious part of this conversation. If we lose to them, pack it all in. They are one of the worst teams in the league. I'm not interested. They are fucking garbage. And if Liverpool are going to be,
but they have Captain Fantastic Bruno Fernandes.
Oh yeah, forgot about him. Like if Liverpool go out and play to 70% of their ability, you'll be United. So, this is a serious game of footy. By the way, title is on the line.
Yeah,
it's on the line.
Yeah.
By the way, no one loses 3 on the bounce in the league and wins the league. Yeah. I don't think it's ever happened. I'd have to look into that stats. I don't think it's ever happened. So let's stop the rot now. I actually think Liverpool will batter them. I just think it's a wounded animal, and Liverpool are back at home, and Liverpool won't accept the performances that the fans won't accept those performances that you just put in away. They just won't accept them. It's not acceptable. And I actually think Liverpool will batter them, depending on who he starts. If he does Mazraoui and Dorgu as his fullbacks, which he likes to do for the big teams, I think Liverpool still win 2-3-0. But if he does Diallo and Dalot, who he likes to do, the attacking ones, in effect, I think Liverpool batter them even more. I think he will go Mazraoui and Dorgu. I think they'll be his 2 fullbacks. Because they're the only teams, they're the only really ones he likes to interchange consistently, depending on who he's playing against. And then he has a big conversation what he's going to do up front. I don't know if Kuna's back. But he might do Kuna. The problem is Mason Mount's been getting a tune out of Mason Mount, which is probably his biggest success at the moment. He's getting a tune out of Mason Mount. He looks like a bit of a football player, which is nice to know. But yeah, I think Liverpool are just a wounded animal. I think if you score in the first 10, open the floodgates.
But you think our manager does weird lineups? Amarin does fucking strange lineups right there. I mean, I don't even understand what he does right there. I mean, why do you not play Dalot? They have Dalot on the bench like most half this match. I don't even understand.
He does Dalot, doesn't he, for Sunderland, but he doesn't do him for Chelsea because I think he prefers Dorgu. Because what he wants here is how he does it, right? I think Brian, I had to study this, lad. Between his 2 fullbacks that he picks, he likes to pick 1 attacker, 1 defender. So they can drop into a 4, and then the other attacker's meant to drop into the midfield striker. And that's what he likes to do. The problem is, so for example, Dalot will drop further back, Diallo will go forward. But when he plays the other 2, Dorgu goes forward and Mazraoui goes further back. So it's a bit of a weird tactical shift that he does. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I quite like Dalot. I think he's all right. I think he's actually a tidy football player.
He's a good player.
He's just not a wing back. Wing back's such a specialist position.
I think honestly, Amarin hates his job.
I've never seen the words of it. We're playing against a team where the manager wants to get fired.
He has to go out and try and fuck Jim Ratcliffe's wife to get fired because there's no other way. I genuinely, what is he doing? I've never seen a man who wants to get fired, especially when there's a manager. If you're United, with Oliver Glasner in the league, who plays 3 at the back and can do it brilliantly, who's going to be readily available in 12 months and might leave his job. He's literally sitting there in front of you, But for Man United for 12 years, I've not done the normal thing. And there we are.
I can only imagine that what's probably going to happen is Radcliffe going and goes, my wife is the happiest she's ever been. Whatever you do, keep doing it.
Every night, she's doing all the washing. She's fucking great at that.
And then she Portuguese food all of a sudden.
And then Amram is like, damn it, that plan didn't work. What's the next one?
Amazing.
Right, everybody. So that just leaves us to say these things. You got to make sure you're following us on YouTube, on Facebook, and Instagram, and on X formerly known as Twitter, and Blue Sky, and TikTok, and all of those things that the young people like to indulge in on social media. There may well be a pre-match watch along, and well, probably just a pre-match and a post-match for Sunday. We'll see about that. But I believe there's no morning coffee this week for the morning time because of the international week. Is my right?
I think
right on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't tell me that.
Okay, we won't answer that. But if you follow all the things, if you like and subscribe and hit the bell, then you'll know exactly what's coming up every single day. Thank you, Brian, Suzy, and Cozzy, for joining us amid your various troubles and tribulations of the last week and a half or about 2 weeks or so. But we will be back next Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game. Have a safe one. Peace out. And let's hear some funky music.